Hello again, another update from Backyard Bounty in Arizona. Uh, we just had a heat wave come through the last week, and everything has gotten much bigger because of it. Even out here in Arizona, it was a heat wave for the springtime. It was like almost 100. But let me show you what we got so far. Back here, unfortunately, the peas that I planted, they're not doing so well. So I actually shut the water off on this section. I'm just going to let them die because if you've seen the peas that I had in other updates, I had so many I didn't know what to do with them. I was giving bags away every week. But they're not doing that well this year, so I've given up on them. It's too late in the season now because by the time they get this tall again, it's going to be way too hot. So I've just given up on them. And then out here, we have the wheat field. It decided to come back in most of it. Some of it, like right here, it's kind of dead, but you know, first time I've ever done it. I'm not worried about it. But I still think it'll be just fine. And then out here you can see our melon patch. It's gotten much bigger so far. This is all honeydew right here. Then the next section, this is all cantaloupe. And then that all down at the end, that's all watermelon. So, not the long types of watermelon, they're the big round ones. And then also we were even seeing baby melons coming up. Like this one here, that's a honeydew. And if you know what a baby melon looks like, it's this little teeny tiny little fuzzy thing like that. That's what it starts like. So that's been after about a week or so. It's already that big. But if they don't get pollinated within a day, they die, unfortunately. And then back there, those are our lima beans. They're the bush type. So pretty soon they're gonna start being some lima beans. My wife loves lima beans, so I promised I'd make her lima beans. And then this pole here that I put in along with that one over there, and then there's one more down there. I put these in because when it starts to get hot here in about a month or so, I got to start putting up shade cloth. Otherwise everything's going to fry. I don't want that to happen. Back here, we got the grapes. They're also doing really well. Some of them have the grape bunches on them. You can stay over there. And then the blackberries, they're also doing really well. A lot of the blackberries, they all have little blackberries on them that are ripening. But also about half of them have gotten so tall that I can tie them to the first wire here. And that's what I'm trying to do, because otherwise they're just going to lean up against the side of the wall and grow up that way, and we don't want that. So I'm training them to get thick. This is the main body. Let them grow up and just turn into probably a gigantic bramble if I don't trim it back at all. Anyway, this is the other grapes. This one right here is being weird because it's growing sideways. It doesn't want to grow up. It's finally starting to get an offshoot up top. But like this one is exactly what I wanted to do. I tied it and then it looped around itself on the wire, and that's what I want. This is going to turn into the main trunk of the vine. When it gets older, it'll get thicker, be about that thick around, and it's just going to go up and then out. Same with this one, same story. And our pomegranate tree, it's got a lot of new growth on it, but it also has a lot more pomegranate buds like that one there. And if you can see, a lot of these ends here are these tiny little buds. These all are going to turn into pomegranate flowers, so this thing is just going to be covered in red flowers. There's more down here, some down there. It's going to be covered with flowers for the summer. And the peach trees, they're just doing what they're doing. We probably won't see the peaches ripen until early summer. They take that long. And then our squash patch is also doing really well. And I saved these for when I was doing a video. I'm gonna pick some squash. One right there. That's a yellow squash. Yellow crookneck. Doesn't look too crooked, but that's what it is. But if you look in here, there are just so many squash buds in there. And in here, there's just so many that are growing. Same with over on this side. There's just tons and tons of these squash in there. You can see that. And we have about 4 crookneck squash plants, so if there's that much squash coming, it's just going to be insane. And then we've got zucchini, patty pan. I'll show you those over here. The zucchini, the baby zucchini right there. There's more over there. And then back here, oh, there it is. This is patty pan, or sunburst if you want to call it that. That's a patty pan squash. It looks like a giant flower when it's done. This is albino patty pan, so it's going to be whitish green. And then one of the unique ones that I got is 8-ball squash. We picked one of these already, but this one looks like it got big really quick. So I'm going to cut this one off here. That's an 8-ball squash. It tastes just like zucchini, so it's pretty much like a round zucchini. It's really cool. And there's other yellow crookneck I'm going to cut off too, but I thought I'd show you that. And then our tomatoes have exploded. They have really gotten big, and there are so many tomatoes, it is beyond count. All these, if you can see them, there's flowers all in it. There's all these tomatoes in here. All these little ones in there. More down here. More up here. There's tons down here. They are all over the place. And that's only a part of it. The other half is all these down here. These are all the same type. All these aromas. And they all have just as many tomatoes. That's a lot. A lot. And then all these here, all these types are still our, oh, there's a leafcutter bee flying around. Not a honeybee. I've seen 1 or 2 honeybees, but mostly these leafcutter bees have been helping me out. They don't they're like a wasp, but they still go into the flowers, and that's what I want them to do. I just leave them alone. But these are all our like heirloom cherry tomatoes, jubilees, beefsteak, sandwich tomatoes. So they've got also a lot of on there. There's some down here that are actually so big, they're trying to get through the grate and have to keep pushing them back. But these will get big enough to where we can pick them soon enough. There's just so many tomatoes. We're going to be giving away tomatoes and making spaghetti sauce for quite some time. And then our peppers, I had to get it some more. It's because the seedlings I started didn't do so well. But we got bell peppers here. We have Santa Fe Grande peppers. They're like we have picked one so far, but they're like a yellow jalapeno. And then we have some Anaheims. These big Anaheims right here. I think they said they're Anaheims, so I don't know. That's starting to look more like a bell pepper to me, but it said it was an Anaheim, so we'll see if it gets any longer or if it stays that way. We got banana peppers, habaneros, and then jalapenos. There are a lot of jalapenos on that one plant over there. And then we have herbs here. We've got mint, oregano, and basil. And the mint, I've already had to cut back once, and it's just going to keep running like this. You can see this root down here. If I don't cut it back, it sends out a runner like this, and then it's just going to turn into, it's like a weed. And if I don't cut it back, then I'm in trouble. But that's what we got for now. The next time you see us will probably be a lot of red and yellow tomatoes all over the place. So until next time.